right. Thank you, all of you, for joining us here this weekend. It's absolutely so wonderful. Again, what an incredible journey for us as fans, and certainly an interesting one for all of you associated with this. So just right out of the bat, saying this myself, saying it for everybody, thank you all. Thank you for your talents, professionalism, the performances, and the influence and the entertainment that this film has created and continues to create for new fans in the horror genre. Thank you. So what I just love to just kick off with is, I know some of you have told these stories before, but I would just like to hear everyone's origin story and how they got involved with this. So we should probably start with you guys at the creative process.
Testing.
Oh,
Testing.
this works.
Hello.
I was going to say, hey, hello, Tulsa.
Well, hi, everybody. It's our first time in Cleveland. Hello.
Hello, hello.
Oh, let's see. It's an old story. Let's see. The concept of killer clowns came from, I guess it was my fault. I tried to imagine the most frightening thing that could happen to me, and it was the idea of me driving down a lonely mountain road and having a car flashing its lights behind me, and as it passes me, I turn to see a clown looking at me. And a clown being where it shouldn't be is the most frightening thing I could think of.
Yeah, and let's see, in terms of like how the movie got made, we were working with Shelley Duvall on her Fairy Tale Theater show, and her executive producer, Fred Fuchs, was a fan of an ABC after-school special we had done in Los Angeles, and he had some friends that just came into some financing for some genre movies, and asked if we had an idea. So we had this thing called Killer Clowns from Outer Space, and he set up a meeting with Transworld Entertainment. We went in with a poster, a one-sheet poster that Charlie had drawn, painted of a clown overlooking a little sleepy community. Steven did a little maquette sculpture of a clown holding a puppet, holding a ray gun, and a 25-page treatment. We pitched it to Moshe Diamant and Paul Mason at Transworld Entertainment, and it was our first motion picture pitch anywhere, anytime, and we sold it in the room.
It was easy, really easy.
You know, the thing is, we did think about what we were doing, that how could we make something different? Because clown movies had been made. So we wanted to put a Kyoto spin on it. We didn't want the guys in makeup. We didn't want anyone to confuse them with guys in makeup that went crazy and killed people. We made them from outer space. So that's the difference. We put a spin on something that was familiar. We made it new.
Woo! Actors, how did you fall into this?
Desperate for a job.
Aren't we all?
We had kind of a...
Speak for yourself.
We had kind of a revolving casting process, as I recall, where we came in, we auditioned for the brothers with kind of multiple matchups, and I remember we probably came back a few times, right?
Did you and I audition for each other's roles though as well? I couldn't remember.
I don't
It's
think
been so
I ever
long.
auditioned for Dave. I don't think I did. But I do know that when they figured out that we both got the job, we were both blonde and we probably looked more like brothers. And so they had me, that's when they had me, they said, okay, you gotta dye your hair dark. And I think their buddy, who's the real Mike Tobacco, people always ask me, you know, how did they come up with that character name? I said that was actually their friend who was kind of the troublemaker from when they grew up. And didn't he have dark hair, you guys? Yeah, so it kind of worked for that, and as well, it offset John and myself, who were both blonde, kind of surfer-looking guys.
So the way I got an audition and started doing this was my agent read the script and had heard of the Kyoto brothers because they had done Large Marge for
Pee Wee Herman.
For Pee Wee Herman's movie. And she said that you have to work with these guys because they're uber talented, and I've read the script, and it is going to be a cult classic, and you must go in and read for it. Because I was working on something else at the time, and so I had to come in for it, and she said, this is going to be a really great movie. She said, you got to go in and read report.
It just took 38 years.
Well, she was right about the cult classic, though.
She was right about that.
Yeah.
I mean, when you hear of the name Killer Clowns from Outer Space, you kind of think this movie could be a cult classic, right? I mean, it sounds like a movie that should be a cult classic.
Well, you know what you're going to get. With that title, you're going to get Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
We were
Of course
actually
you
in a
have to
meeting.
execute.
We were in a meeting, and they said, "Oh, so you have a movie called Killer Clowns from Outer Space. What's it about?" I said, "It's about killer clowns from outer space."
It's a love story.
I almost did an audition for it though because they didn't know how to spell clowns. So it was like I thought, God, these guys can't even spell clowns. How can I work with them? Yeah, just kidding.
And how did our clown performers get involved?
Well, let's see. I was living in Northern California, a small town, and I was auditioning for a Ron Howard, Henry Winkler movie. And someone on that set said, I think there's another movie being auditioned at the Holiday Inn in Santa Cruz. But they didn't know what the name of the movie was or what the movie was about. So the audition ended at 3 o'clock, and I got there about 5 minutes to 3. And there were 2 people sitting at a table, and there was no one else in the room. So I said, hello, I'm here to try out for the movie. And they said, okay, go back there and put the suit on. I said, the suit? They said, you'll see. So I went back there because, I wanted to be in the movie or a movie. And I saw the killer clown outfit, and they put it on me. And when I put it on, it just felt natural. And I said, what do I do? They said, just go out and do your best killer clown. So I went out in front of the 2 guys at the table and did my killer clowning thing. And here I am today.
He called it the Killer Clown Shuffle.
Yeah, that's it.
It's that
So-
easy, folks.
Yeah, so that's my story. So I just want to encourage everybody to try and do the things that you enjoy doing, because I think this movie is a good example of people who love what they do, and they just gave it their best shot. They wanted to do their movie to the best of their ability, and here we are, all these years later. So I'm grateful.
As are we.
And those are the best things, to have full support by the cast and the crew, all working together for the same goal. That's how it works. That's what makes classics. That's what makes great movies.
Well, I was a member of the San Francisco Stunt Association, and they called us about doing the stunts. So the stunt coordinator, Rocky Capella, and I went to their studio, and we were talking about it, and they were wondering what kind of performance the stunts can be done in the clown outfits. And we're looking at them, and then they said, well, somebody needs to put on the suit. And I look up, and everybody's looking at me. So I put the suit on. At the time, it wasn't painted. It was just all white. And so I was looking in the mirror, trying to go through movies, and I started out as a stunt guy doing Wild West stunt shows. And I learned real quick that your movements have to be big in order to see it. And so I started messing around with it, and then Steven started saying, okay, pretend you're shooting the gun, pretend you're doing this, pretend you're doing that. And next thing I knew, I was the main stunt bozo for the movie. I also doubled Michael Siegel, driving the ice cream truck during the chases.
Michael played one of the Trenzi brothers.
Pardon me?
What was that? Yeah, he was one of the Trenzi brothers.
I just showed up to be an extra in the crowd scene, and I showed up in my art car, which was, oh my God, and I think these guys noticed that, but what they noticed was I was big and tall.
He was tall.
And I was just finished playing, 5 years of college basketball, so I was in really good shape. And they said, hey, do you think you could play a clown? And I said, yeah, I'm already a clown. And they said, well, come to the audition tonight and just see what you can do. So I never looked at myself in the mirror in the costume ever. Like, I never did what Mike was just saying, which is really interesting because I wish I had. I would have known more about what to do. But I just walked across the room. Naturally, I guess my gait is already killer clownish.
Large.
And so it worked out. And then, when you talk about stunt work, to be honest with you, just wearing that outfit was stunt work. I mean, those shoes were so big and clumsy, and but I've already got big feet, so I was kind of used to that. But anyways, it was a magical experience, and the ride is still going on.
Yeah, he's still a clown.
I just hope this ride continues to develop. These guys, whatever it is, if I could be a part of it, I'm so blessed and gamed and excited to be part of this. So, thanks to you guys.
Yeah, many of you don't realize that suit performing, and especially with clown shoes compounding it, you have an extra weight on you. Your senses are deprived. You're wearing gloves. You're looking through little holes or slits if you're lucky. There's no pumped oxygen into the thing. So you're being deprived of everything you need to live in a suit. If you're claustrophobic, you're done. It's a very difficult thing to do, and we were asking the guys to do a lot, plus run around in clown shoes. I'm glad none of them got hurt.
Does anybody want to be in a costume?
I think everyone's going to say that. For everybody, what was the most memorable day that you can recall during the making of, or maybe pre or post making of, from your perspectives?
Well, for me, my favorite scene is really the shadow gag. And we've always had a battle between, let's say, my directing and my AD, my assistant director, who really didn't give me what I wanted half the time. I said, please give me a bus. I want to have a bus enter the scene and reveal a clown. And he gave me a bus. So I was really happy with that scene, and the bus really helped.
Nice.
Yeah, for me it was again working with a favorite actor, John Vernon, great character actor, Outlaw Josie Wales, Animal House, Dean Wormer, and having him on set being our heavy, our mean guy, and seeing him with our younger cats at that time was just kind of a blast. And that whole scene that he with the Mooney dummy and stuff like that, just like the culmination of the movie, because that's a real killer clown from outer space at that point. That's where the movie changes. And just that night was just kind of fun, just watching him in action, just kind of chew up the scenery in a most professional way.
Yeah, the thrill for me is seeing the drawings and storyboards that I did, the props, the guns, the cars, the clowns come to life. That's the closest I can come to giving birth.
Ooh, what an ugly child.
Hey, else, go ahead and chime in. What was the most memorable day that you can recall on the set? Whether it was necessarily a scene or maybe during filming one of the scenes that is always always struck with you.
Well, my favorite scene to do was the floating clown bit when I smashed the car off the road. It was on a really cool contraption that was made by one of the effects guys. And it had an arm connected to the rear of the car that pivoted out. And there was a chain and a seat that I was on. And I had wires coming up the leg and to my hands. And when I moved my hand forward, the seat moved forward. When I went back, the seat went back. And then this hand is how I steered the wheel that was connected to it. And initially, we were doing the scene, and Steve was given direction with a bullhorn, and then he's kind of like, Mike, what's going on? It's like I could not hear a thing. I was, had the mask on, and the mask had a motor in the head to control the eyes remotely. So all I was hearing was a buzzing running through my skull. And so instead, at the beginning, before the scene, Steve just said, okay, just do this, have some fun with it, and get a few good hits. And I got to rehearse on the rig in the parking lot for a day, And then we ended up shooting it over a couple of days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the first time we shot it, the DP didn't really like the background, and we made all this effort to shoot it on location. So we wanted to see the location, the trees that we were going past. And in the dailies, when we got them back, there was no trees. It looked like we were on a black stage. It was awful. I was so disappointed. So I had to speed up the schedule. I had to shoot things quicker to make time so we could reshoot it. And we did. We shot it a second time. But this time, the road they chose to shoot it was very bumpy and jagged. So we're shooting from a camera car to the vehicle where Mike is with a long lens, and it's bouncing around like this. So most of the footage was useless because it was all blurred. So I pretty much abandoned the sequence, which was really the impetus for the entire concept. But then Charlie, with the editor, he worked it out, and we got a cut that we could pull together and had the sequence intact.
We had Fantasy 2 doing 2 stop motion with rear screen projection of the clown chasing the car, being projected behind it. All that work was done. I wasn't going to throw the footage out. Too much work went into it, and it was the original concept that Stephen came up with, a clown coming up behind you on the street, and he's in no car. So I couldn't let that get thrown away. So Chris Roth, the editor, and I kludged something together. Not perfect, but I needed to put it into the film.
Anyone else want to chime in?
Well, I remember just going into the facility that they built all their sets in. It was a computer chip building that hadn't been moved into, and they rented it, and they converted this building into the set. It was amazing, all the different things that they came up with. But I think the most fun scene was getting out of the clown car and seeing the clowns get out and line up and then throwing the pies at the security guard, and watching him melt and then putting the cherry on the top there. It's just amazing all the things that they came up with, building the sets inside of a building, and they did all the work themselves. I mean, just goes to show you that you don't need to have a lot of money to have a popular movie, I guess.
Let's ask you guys, is there a scene that the three of us all played in at the same time? So I didn't do that car scene. I wasn't in it. But I remember the fun house, and the boards of the fun house were going up and down for real. And we had to walk through that. Were you guys both on that? Were you on that? You were on. I remember.
I think I was.
Okay, so that's the only scene that the three of us played in together.
And describe that scene again?
The funhouse scene, the boards are going up and down, and we have to go through a door, and we're moving together. And
I think I was
it was
spiking
very
that
multicolored, very colorful. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
The arches. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. It's a wacky. And actually, the concept of the interior spaceship was really a fun house that we experienced called Rye Beach Playland in New York. And it kind of recreated what was the funhouse experience with these dark limbo with all these little contraptions and rides. Yeah, that's right, the tilting walls.
Yeah, which helped in the production design. Instead of building elaborate futuristic clown sets, we could minimalize it by using a black background and just highlighting, signature set pieces. And Phil Foreman, my art director, told me how to make a kit of parts, pieces like an erector set that you could put in different, positions and put tubes and stuff in it and get 5 or 6 setups out of each thing, no matter what direction you chose to use it in. It was a kit of parts thing to basically get the most out of a low budget, and it worked fine for, Killer Clowns.
Grant and John and Suzanne, when you went through the balloons, tell us about that.
I was trying to think about what was the most fun part, and I was thinking, well, I remember the part that I looked forward to the most was jumping into that balloons. It's funny that you would ask that, because I can't really think of, the whole movie was just fun, and we're looking forward to whatever new gag there was every single night, and it was very different, I think, probably for all of us, because we were imagining things that weren't really there, and trusting in Steven's vision of what he would tell us. There's a big spaceship, there's a big circus tent there, it's a spaceship, it's going up. Most of these things we were just having to picture. But they were all fun, but that was something, like, it brought out the little kid in me, when we saw those balloons and finally got to jump into them.
Well, how about the pies at the end in the face?
Yes.
Oh,
I mean,
that
to me was one of the most memorable scenes to shoot, and it hurt. I mean, those were real pies that the
they
Keeler
did
brothers were up on ladders in a parking lot, heaving these pies down at us.
And you guys didn't know about it. We didn't give you the script.
No.
By the way, that entire ending was shot because correct me if I'm saying anything that's wrong, but they did a test screening of the movie, and everybody said, we don't want Dave to die.
It's not that kind of a movie,
Yeah,
he
that's
said.
exactly it.
Yeah, so because David had originally, remember, been up in the spaceship when it blew up, so that was months after, and my hair had gone back to blonde. They had to come and use a spray can and basically spray it dark again, and we shot it in a parking lot in the Valley in Los Angeles, many months after we finished shooting the movie. That new ending where the clown car bounced, or where the ice cream truck comes down and then everybody pops out.
For any of you people who remember that when Clownzilla was spinning around and Dave looked up, he was just about to explode. Dave took off. A half a second later, Clownzilla exploded the clown tent. There's no way that Dave got out of that spaceship and into the clown car.
Because that was the original script. He was supposed to die. And only the Terenzi brothers came back. But again, after the test screening, we rewrote it, and that's why it doesn't really work. It's called Killer Clowns from Outer Space. What do you expect?
Well,
Thank you for keeping me alive in case there's a sequel.
I mean, they got most of the town for the most part. Don't think we didn't notice that little small cotton candy patch that was either a dog or a kid of some kind.
It was Pooh Bear.
Okay, Suzanne, do you have one? Do we or do you have one? A day you remember, or is it just the end with these guys?
Oh, well, the balloon scene. Because the balloon scene, I kept on getting lost in the balloons, right? The balloons I kept on disappearing, so they had to help me.
They were popping,
Did we
banging,
know-
you
nobody
were
knew
falling.
they were gonna
It was
pop.
impossible to walk through.
It was
But
really
how
hard
about
to
the
walk through,
the
but
one
it
that
was fun.
everybody had the day off, but you had to shoot the bathroom scene all by yourself?
I had to shoot the bathroom scene. It was supposed to be like a Killer Clown Psycho bathroom scene. Now, I learned a lot that day. That was really fun because you explained everything to me about how the puppets worked and what was going to happen. It was fascinating. Yeah,
I
it
think
was fun.
you're on record as taking the longest shower in film history.
Right?
What's the fact that this insanity is going on? It's like, oh, okay, good, home. I'll just relax for a bit and blah, blah, blah. And then the two of you, oh, wait, half the town's up, we should go check on her, But that's the fun of this. And again, it's the fun. It's absolutely the fun and the enduring fun of this. Thank you for indulging my capricious curiosity. I'm going to jump out in this audience and see what they got to ask. So, all right. Somebody wants to meet me over here at the Orange X. Come on around. That way we'll get you on the camera. So, hi. Hey, what's your name?
I'm Talina.
What you got, Talina?
I just wanted to know, what was the inspiration for the different, clown designs of, the characters and basically just the overall look of the clowns?
You know what? The inspiration comes from the things that, excuse me, I grew up with watching as a child. The Jay Ward, Rocky and Bullwinkle, the classic Bob Clampett, Looney Tunes, Chuck Jones, Looney Tunes, all that animation, those characters, the Three Bears, Bugs Bunny, a lot of the Looney Tune gags were part of it. We grew up with the Three Stooges, Abbott and Costello, Laurel and Hardy, but visually, the character styles, the faces, were based on the characters I loved from those old childhood cartoons.
Yeah, and early on, Steven wanted the clowns to be instant recognizable as different characters, so the silhouettes were super, super important.
Yeah, besides the silhouette too, they had to be big. They had to be larger than humans so that the humans, the adults, felt like they were children, which kind of recreated what I think Suzanne's character, Debbie, experienced when she was young. The clown picked her up and it was her nightmare.
Which they cut out of the theatrical version to save, 30 seconds. It explained her fear of clowns.
It was more like 3 minutes.
It was a great
Really?
monologue. It was a great monologue.
It was good. I think
Great monologue.
there's a television cut of the film and you'll see her wonderful performance.
Very good. Good to start us off with. Thank you. You get 2 for being our first. Congrats. Hey, come on up. Hi, what's your name?
Alexis. So this is for all of you. I hear there's a remake on the horizon, and what I want to know is how do you guys feel, and will you watch it if it comes out?
Well, I think it's awesome. I think that it's a great testament to what the Quiero brothers created, and we got to create with them. And of course, I'll watch it. I hope I'm in it. I hope I get to do a cameo. Yeah, it's awesome.
The official response on that is stay tuned.
Okay, I think it's. Will you watch it?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Well, we all would. I think the main thing is and the follow up the stay tuned thing. My attitude is, if it's agreeable to everybody involved, I'm on board. You know, if everybody has a place for it, everybody can come on back.
No, it depends on what our involvement is. A lot of times, sequels are made without our involvement. The Critter sequels weren't as good as the ones we worked on because we weren't involved in it. So that's my only concern.
So we will stay tuned. Thank you. Thank you for bringing that up. Who got another one? All right. Go ahead. Okay. Hey, what's your name?
Michael, what is your favorite clown weapon that they used?
Ooh. The favorite clown weapon.
Popcorn gun. The real popcorn. When it fired, they had to reload it and get all that popcorn.
And what was the kickback on that when you felt that thrust of that bazooka?
Pretty good. Actually did have a pretty good kickback. But you know, when you're wearing those clown shoes, and we all have heard about the glue that we used to glue the back of the head on. I was high as a kite when we did that scene. And I'm glad that I didn't fall in the ditch that was on the other side of that walkway. You know. Anyways, it was the popcorn gun was really real. I mean, it felt real.
Yeah,
and I think it came across as real.
Yeah. The cocoon gun's pretty cool. Now you can actually go buy your own cocoon gun, the little ray gun. That's a cool one. There's some, at the end, you see a bunch of weapons that weren't really highlighted in the movie anywhere else. The hockey sticks, the baseball bats with the spikes, and pretty lethal stuff.
And of course, the pies.
Yes, the pies.
What's your favorite?
The cotton candy gun.
Cotton candy. Yeah, the cotton candy guy. That guy rules the rest. There you go. Thank you. Good one. Hey, what's your name?
Hi, my name's Joe. So many things go into the perfect storm of making a cult movie like this. The music. So that sting at the end, when that starts up as the pies go, it's amazing. So how did that happen with the Dickies getting involved and putting in that perfect song that just
Well,
The song?
I'd like to take entire credit for that.
Yeah, wait, the song.
But I can't.
The song we had nothing to do with.
Yeah, actually, I wish we could take credit for the song. That's all the Dickies. Our music supervisor had a relationship with their record label, Enigma Records, and in fact, I have to post it. I've got the letter that Bob Hunka wrote to their record label with a really fun description of the movie, with some key words of the plot and just the scenario. And then Leonard Phillips came back with the demo of the song, and it was perfect.
It was perfect. I couldn't have imagined it. And what was really cool about it, besides being a wonderful song, it brought in a completely different audience. It brought the Dickies, those punks, that whole music group area.
Yeah, the Dickies were really big in the punk scene in LA at that time, and it brought a whole new audience to the movie that may not have seen it otherwise. So it was like serendipity. It's like I wish we could take credit for it.
Yeah, and they did a whole Killer Clowns tour with their album, with our Killer Clown on the album cover. So, you know, we owe a lot to the Dickies. You know, the collaboration between creative artists, you know, make it all happen.
Good one. Thank you. Hi, what's your name?
Brandy. I was just wondering if you guys like learned anything from just this movie.
What lessons have we learned?
Well, let's talk to the actors about that, because their career kind of revolves around the projects they choose to be in.
You know, I'll say something. I learned a lot about special effects from the guys, right? Because that was really cool. But actually, I learned a lot from the fans. Coming out to the shows and seeing, you know, as a young actor, you just want to get a job, you want to make money, you hope the film does well. You don't really think about 5 years later, 20 years later, 30 years later, and what a film with all these great people, how it can touch other people's lives. And so I think that's been the greatest gift and lesson for me, was talking to people that like the film and listening to grandparents and then their children and their grandchildren talk about it and how they laughed and they were healed. And you know, you don't think about that as a young person, how that type of art can affect and touch people.
Yes, that's very nice. Thank you, Suzanne. That's great. We feel the same way too. We just wanted to make a movie that we wanted to see, and we're just really so overwhelmed by the response by the people who enjoyed the film. It's like the best compliment we could have. Plus, being on stage with this crew here, I mean, we made a film together, and here we are, 30-something years later, as close as we were back then now. It's great.
Yeah, synchronicity only works if everybody's working toward the same end. We wanted to make a great movie, and there are some people that just want to make money, and there's where the problem happens. They have a different goal in mind, and they sort of contradict each other and cancel each other out, which is why it took a little longer. But you can't deny that Killer Clowns is still more popular than ever 38 years later.
Brandy, did you learn anything from the movie?
Don't trust anybody.
I'll take that. There you go. And on that, I'm going to give you a piece of candy. You can trust me.
Thank you.
One final question for all of you. Would you like to take a picture with this wonderful audience we've had?
Absolutely.
All right, everybody. We're going to invite everybody come towards the stage. Not on the stage, but coming up towards the stage. We're going to take a picture.